Welcome everyone to Ask a Recruiter in Finland session, webinar, podcast, call it whatever you want. The essence of it is actually we have a wonderful guest, Ash, who is a recruiter and who can answer all your questions about how to get hired in Finland. And I would like to start with an introduction. Ash, please tell us a little bit more about you.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much, Lydia, for being so kind and for the beautiful way of introducing and welcoming everyone. And it's always a pleasure to be with you in any chat, any talk. So thank you for having me. And a very warm welcome and hi to everybody that's present here. It's a house full, a lot of people, and really happy to see that. Well, a very short, very quick intro for myself. I am Ash. I am a talent acquisition professional. I've been working in Finland for close to 4 or 5 years now. I've been working with diverse industries in diverse domains. And when I had just moved to Finland, like I think quite a lot of you here, I was on the other side of the table. That is, trying to understand how to enter the market, how to get a job, how to get salary, how to do something that I really enjoy doing. And well, that was back in 2020 and cut to 2025. I've been here, I've entered the market, I've seen how the market works and what functions, what doesn't function. So I very well understand where you all are coming from because I was myself there. And I also had somebody to chat with when I was at your place 5 years back. So I know how helpful this can be to talk to somebody who might have been in the same position that you are right now and just be able to provide like the tips and tricks and also some inside information from a recruiter's perspective of what happens in the market and how to enter. So yeah, I'm here to do that. I've been in the people business for close to 10 years now, but in the talent space in Finland for 5 years now. And yeah, it's amazing and it's always fantastic to meet like new people, though I can't see. Like everybody has their screens up. I understand it's morning 10 a.m. You might be sitting with the coffee and groggy. I get it, no problem. Um, but it would be nice if you like switch on the camera just to say a quick hi. But yes, I'm here to answer your questions. We'll start with Lydia. As she said, you have a question. Thank you, Shivangi. Shivangini, yes. And I don't know your name. I can just see iPhone there. I can see Claire. Yes. And I have a lot of people. Okay, nice. Great. Great. Amazing. Yes, so maybe we can start without wasting time. So, Lydia, you can shoot. What's your question? Yeah.
I have a tricky one
Okay.
today.
Okay.
Imagine you can give one piece of advice to all the job seekers in Finland.
Mm,
One thing that you really want everyone to understand. What
mm.
would it be?
It is a tricky one, I must say. Um, if I say from a recruiter's perspective, it's related, it won't be very specific to Finland as such, but in general in today's market, but yeah, also in Finland. Finland is a very network heavy market. You know, when you are doing a job search and when you're trying to apply for opportunities. And to be honest, if there is one position, there might be 500 applicants, out of which you might have quite a few who are really good, suitable, for that position. So the challenge is to stand out. I would say if you are applying for a job in the Finnish market, it's always good to take an extra step, go an extra mile, and reach out to the person who might be working in the department from which the job has been posted. Do some research. Say, for example, you're applying for I don't know, manufacturing engineer, just for example, in I don't know, VTT. Just randomly I'm taking, or in Nokia, let's take a known name, Nokia. It's always good to check who might be working in that department in that particular company, reach out, connect with that person, drop a message to that person that, hey, I saw a position in this particular in your company for this role, And I was very keen, so I applied, but I wanted to also reach out to you because I wanted to tell you that I am really eager to work with your team. So that way, you are not just in the radar of the recruiter who is recruiting for the role, but you're actually in radar of the hiring manager who is also responsible, who is the main brain behind making the decision of finally having you on board. So it really helps in the Finnish market. It's very, getting to know, because it's small, so getting to know each other, knowing people, building connections, building network, that really, that going that extra mile really helps. So I would say this is one thing, and this is something I didn't know myself, because I've been recruiting and I have seen how it goes. This thing actually does contribute a lot, yeah, in the job search and job application and getting that round. Yeah.
Thank you a lot for answering the question. I will now read one from our chat.
Yeah.
When you have received the polite, we chose to go with other candidates, but you want additional feedback, and you managed to get a phone call with a recruiter.
Mm.
What questions would you ask them to understand what went wrong, but also how to do better next time?
Okay, let me just clarify. So I'm the candidate, and I have to, as a candidate, what questions can a candidate ask the recruiter? Is that what you're
You
asking?
applied for a job,
Yeah,
you got a rejection,
yeah.
and then you want to know why you got rejected,
All right,
and
understood. Yeah,
you got
got it.
into a call with a recruiter.
Yes,
What
yes.
should you ask?
Right. To be very honest, I don't think it's helpful to go very vague when you're asking for a feedback. Like, hey, can you just tell me why was I rejected? It's hard because let me give you a reality check. Recruiters for one particular a recruiter might work for 5 6 roles at the same time, and for one role they might have 400 applicants. And if so many people call and ask, it's difficult. Again, what needs to be done is you need to stand out in terms of being very specific of asking for a feedback. Say, for example, they are requiring XYZ skill set for 7 years and with this kind of specifications and such certifications. You have all of those. So your job is to go through the job description once again, talk to the recruiter and say, hey, I saw in the job post that this is required. I have these many years of experience with this particular skill set and this particular certifications. So is there any specific reason why was I not accepted? Did you find somebody who was much more better in terms of experience or in terms of skill set? If you can tell me which are the areas that I need to work on, not randomly, like, do I need any specific certifications? Do I need to gather a few more years of experience in my work? I remember when I was applying for a job and I had got rejected back, 4 years back, 4 or 5 years back. I had a chat with my recruiter, and I had specifically asked that your job description has exactly what I have done, and I made it through this interviews. So why is it that the final interview I was rejected? He had asked me, okay, what do you think might have gone wrong? And that's generally what recruiters do. If we For us, it's easy to understand if you are calling for genuine feedback or are you just calling to complain. It's very easy for us to understand if you're just here to blame and complain or you are genuinely looking for some productive thing to improve yourself. So I had told that in my interview, this, better. And he had told me, Ash, your problem was in your interview, you did not ask too many questions back to the interviewer, and we thought you were not curious enough. That may not be your trait, you might have been nervous, but there was another candidate who had really good questions, and we hired him. So it is a very simple thing, but I went well prepared. So you have to be very well prepared with what you have applied for, and then be concrete in your questions, but what you're asking in terms of the specifications that you have had. If you've cracked the interview, or if your interview went well, say my interview went well. Don't say I answered all the questions that the interviewer had asked. No, no, no. When the interviewer had asked me about a project that I worked on, I spoke about this project. Wasn't this project experience aligned with what you were looking for? Or you had asked me for field work experience. I have field work experiences in this particular area, but isn't what Is it what you're not looking for? Do you want me to focus on something else as well? And always share with the recruiter what your interest is, because a lot of times what happens is companies, they have a talent pool that they're building. So if you are being rejected from a role but you are a strong candidate, you are still in the system. And then when something comes up, or for example, the person who has been hired gets promoted and they want to hire somebody else, but they do not have much time or they don't want to go through a long process, they might directly reach out to you and say, hey, you had applied for this position. We have another one open which aligns well with what you're, and that happened with my first job as well. So that we have another one open. Would you be interested? But for that to happen, you have to stay in the notice of the recruiter, because there are so many people. And how do you stand out, or how is it that you remember? By communication, by connection, by talking, by showing a genuine interest in the role that you're applying for, or showing a genuine interest in the need to improve and taking good feedback so that you can work on it. I had applied for a talent acquisition consultant role and I was rejected and it didn't happen. And then they hired me for the first in house talent acquisition. That was just because I had a chat and I had expressed my interest. They brought me in. So, yeah, I hope I answered your question. Uh, yes.
Thank you. Thank you a lot. We will do it this way. If someone wants to ask with a voice, we will always give a chance. We will do it comment, voice, comment, voice. If there is no voice questions, then I will just read comments.
Yeah.
Please go on. There is a hand raised.
Muhammad Nasir. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. Uh, I just need to ask that what are the best websites or platforms to find jobs in Finland?
So there are several, I would say, starting from I would go to go do. So two dominant things I always say is, first is LinkedIn, of course, but also check the website of the company. A lot of times what happens in, and they may not publish it on LinkedIn, or but they have it just on their website, and then you miss out an opportunity on that. So the specific company's website that you are looking to apply for, LinkedIn, there's one called Dunitori that you can have a look. Also you can go, at times Glassdoor also has just random statements of, hey, we have an opening, like this, and you can just check out in this place, we are hiring for new people. And I just want to tell this to everybody present here. Finland is a very, very LinkedIn centric, network centric market. This I am saying both as a job seeker who was applying for jobs, looking for jobs, as a recruiter who recruits for companies, and as somebody who does help people also to get into the job market, and enter a job. It's a lot of companies also do not post on their website or on their LinkedIn, but they will write posts. Hi, we are planning to, we have I think it happened recently with one company. We are looking for an enthusiastic, I think, UI designer. Interested? DM me. That's it. So they were not publishing anywhere. It's a very network, very, very that kind of a market. And I think it's good in a way also because it gives the scope for you to be seen by the person who is hiring, and not just a random applicant that's going on. So yeah, you have Donitori, you have LinkedIn, you have career websites for the particular companies that you're applying for. But I would say try to be very, very active on LinkedIn. Keep following the people or the companies that you're interested in. And if they don't have an opening, for example, but you're very interested in the company, do not hesitate to reach out to someone from that particular company and just drop a message that, hey, you may not have an opening, but i am a I'm an engineer, or I'm a software developer, and I'm very interested in the work that you guys are doing. Do you think something might come up in the open? You build a connection, and the person might say, hey, no, there is nothing, but Yes, would you be open for a chat? That means they were thinking of, and this happens a lot here. They were thinking of hiring somebody, or they have something in the pipeline. Maybe in the coming few weeks, they're going to open a role. But before that, you reach and you chat, and they have, and they like you, and then you're like, oh, yes, join us. Would you like to join us? That's how it's a very getting to know each other, talking, meeting, building connections, building network. Very, and if you've been in Finland, you know that Finland as a culture also, it's a very trust-based society. That's how Finland functions. It's a very, very trust based. So the job market also functions in a similar way. It's a very trust based networking space for you to explore and enter the market. So I would say don't just go to don't just open LinkedIn and go to jobs and look at jobs and apply. No, that wouldn't help. Go to the company that you're applying for. Check who are the people who are there who are hiring for that particular position. Reach out to one person, two person, three-person. There's no harming in sending messages. Send them a message. Ask them if they are willing to chat with you for even just 10 minutes. Think they might have been working on a very interesting topic, and just take that as a point of conversation to start. That, hey, in your latest post I saw that you guys were working on drones. I'm very interested in drone. I had done some project on drone. Would you be free for a 5-minute chat? It would be great to learn from you. Your job is to just have the first chat and the first connection with the person. Once you can build that bridge, then it kind of gets easier to keep rolling, keep rolling. It's very difficult to wake up early in the morning, but once you wake up and you get into the cold shower and you're done, then it's easy for you to get on with the day. It's just like that. It's just the first step. But once you do that, it keeps rolling. So yeah, that's what I would say.
I'd like to ask about the hidden hidden job market. Besides cold calling and networking,
Mm.
is there anything else we should be aware of?
No. Yes. Um, well, no and yes. Networking, it's also a part of networking, but not just networking via LinkedIn. What I mean is, um, it's always Finland is brilliant in terms of giving opportunity of community gatherings. Like if you are interested in, I don't know, customer success, then there is a customer success community here. You can be a part of it. If you're interested in TA, be a part of it. And it's very, very crucial to go, and if you have the time, of course, to go and attend and be a part of these, because if you go to such events, they always have time, even for all the events, even the events that Lydia holds. They set out specific time just for networking. That is the time for you to shine and notice and come to focus of people. You might be talking to somebody who may not have a job, but he or she might know someone, for sure will know someone who is looking for another person and will connect you, and that's how you will get a job. Yeah, the Finnish market, once you understand, it's easy to crack. The challenge is you have to take a little bit of time and have the patience to understand the market. Once you understand, then it's a game. Then you can, go and play along and get here and there. That's fine. So I would say do attend events a lot. I was actively attending again because one of the motive of this webinar was to share what I was also doing. This is what I say. I was attending a lot of webinars. Seminars and conferences, and I was hosting events. I volunteered to conduct webinars and events, and I hosted events. I did a program at URI, and I built connections, and that's how the web got built. And eventually I landed how it gave me the direction for the first job. So yeah, I would say it's very, very crucial to, and I think you should make use of it. I don't know if I have lived in few other countries, but I don't know if many countries give this provision. But Finland is amazing in terms of giving you a platform in terms of community gatherings. Please make use of it. You never know whom you might come across who might just say that, hey, it was really fun talk to you. Would you be free for a coffee? And if somebody is saying, would you be free for a coffee? It's not just a coffee chat. They actually want to know what you have been doing and see if it can be a good match with what they're looking for in their company. That's how it works here. So they wouldn't say, hey, I want to take your interview for a role. No, no, no. Would you be free for a coffee? Let's have a chat. That means they want to know what is it that you have or what you can bring to the table. So attend. And do not hesitate to take the first step. Someone might be very busy, someone might be very do not have time. Do not go hesitate to go and say, hey, I loved what you spoke in today's event. Do you think you would have some time maybe next week for just a quick online coffee chat, maybe 10-15 minutes? Chat with that person, and the person might say, I don't have a job in my company, but I do know, because Finland is a land of startups. There are a lot of startups here, and startups may not easily post jobs. As you said about hidden market, they may internally hire. So, but I know a company, they are looking for a person exactly like you. I will connect you with that person. And that's how it functions. So, yeah.
Thank you. On purpose, I'm trying not to read names. There is a hand raised. Please go on and ask a question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so my question is regarding the previous answer, what she has given about the LinkedIn. So I think this might be going for a lot of people, that when we apply for any particular jobs, we can see that how many people applied there. So sometimes it says that over 100 people applied there. So now my questions comes here that we don't know that who those people are and their qualifications and their experience and all those things. And as a recruiter, as she's a recruiter, and she might be having a bunch of resumes or CVs all the time. So my question is that how can you pick those resumes out of those 100? So is it some automated system that which takes some, I would say, some words from the job descriptions and it match with the resume, and those resume may picked, and out of that you then go for the scales and experience, and then you picked out of 10 or 15 resumes, and then you go and do the interviews. Is it something like that? I want to know.
Okay, thank you so much for your question. But firstly, I know where this is coming from. I think there's a lot of talk about ATS friendly resumes that goes on and stuff like that. Let me tell you something. No, we manually go through the resumes. That's why we get paid. It takes a lot of time and a lot of energy from us when we have one job opening and we have 300 applicants. We have to go through them one by one. But no, there are some companies that do have ATS friendly, but not everybody can afford to have such an ATS friendly resume. And I as a recruiter, I personally believe in going through resumes manually. And since we recruiters, since we keep doing this and we have been doing this for a lot of time, it doesn't take us that much long to go through the resume. Like, we can do it pretty fast and we can see if this has what we are looking for. But we go through it manually, like one by one, because it's not just the job title that we check, in your past experiences. We actually see the work that you have been doing, because it's not like your previous job title has to match with what we are looking for right now. We have to see the kind of work that you were doing in your previous places. Does that align with what we are looking to hire right now in our company? So we go through them one by one. For sure, it takes time. That is the reason you will see in most companies, when you apply, they say it might take some time to respond, because we have a lot of applicants, because we are going through them manually. And how do we select? Of course, for every position, there are certain criteria that we have in mind, which we have to look into while hiring people, or while bringing them for the first round. So we just see what is the requirement for the job, and then we shortlist people to the interview stage. But no, to answer your question, it is not like there is a system that brings in and that picks some words, and if there are 500 applicants, then they will pick out 75 out of it. It's not like that. It's a continuous process, and that's why it takes a little bit of time in getting a response, because we do it one by one. Yes, it's a lot of work. Yes. I hope I answered your question.
Thank
Uh,
you.
sorry,
One question at a time.
I want to add one more as the as just answered that can you also bring some lights on maybe some few words on how the SAP market's going on in Finland because I have a specialization in that, so I would like to hear something.
I would,
Actually, before you answer, one question at a time.
yeah.
So we will save this for later.
Okay. We will take
I'm a cybersecurity professional specializing in GRC. What could you advise I do to stand out in my job application?
it. So one thing which we as recruiters see, so when we know people are applying for jobs, they are not just applying to this particular job, they apply to several jobs at the same time. Um, and they don't change the CV contents as per the requirements of the job. It's like, I have done this job, so I'm just posting it like that. To be honest, in today's market, and this would be applicable not just for this particular question where you need to stand out, but also for what was asked right now about SAP or in general for any position that you're applying for. You have to make the attempt to modify your CV as per what is being asked in the job description. Why? Because in today's time, companies do not have that much time to train somebody from scratch when they are hiring that person into the company. Okay, with the market being so competitive and so brutal in today's time, it is essential that they find someone who does already have the experience or who has already done the work that the company is doing and that they're looking to hire for, so that that person can easily integrate into the company's work. So if you have applied for a, I don't know, a technician role and you take the same CV and you put it for another junior engineer role, you know, the requirements don't match, the expectations of the job don't match, so you cannot expect your CV to be shortlisted. I'll be very honest, as you know, we have lots of applicants for every job, and we are very very particular in saying if what you have done or what you are doing aligns with what we are looking for. Of course, you don't have to be an expert. We when we hire, we know that a little bit of training is required and we will train here and there, but those are very tiny stuff. But if your CV does not reflect what we are, and it also shows that you have not made an effort to apply for this position, you have just randomly applied. And trust me, it's easy. After going through so many CVs, it's easy to understand. It's really easy to understand. You know, it's just like how a teacher knows if a student is lying or not lying after teaching for many years. It's like that. So it's very easy for us to understand. So you have to. You might have applied to 100 jobs, but if you're applying to 100 jobs with the same CV, you cannot expect to be shortlisted because all those 100 jobs will not have the same job description. You don't have to make 100 CVs, not at all. But if you look, you can categorize it in different criteria. Okay, this is a very technician kind of roles. Okay, my CV will go here. I need to tweak it here and there. And in today's time, we have so many apps. Use Canva. It's so fast to get it done like that. I mean, that's like I was chatting about Canva with somebody yesterday, so it just came to my mind. But yeah, you have to put an effort to modify CVs. Like we see tons of CVs, trust me, really, really good places from where they have studied, where they have worked, but zero effort put in the CV. And you know what comes to the mind? The first thing that comes to the mind is if this person has taken zero effort to apply for this position, you know, or worked on the CV, what guarantee is there that this person will actually put an effort to work, you know, sincerely or do a genuine job at the company once he or she is hired? Because if at the first step, that is at the CV step, you are not taking that effort, it also kind of reflects your motive. It reflects the kind of attitude to you have towards the job application. It is frustrating, I understand, as I said, and I have been there. So I know it. I have been in that space. I'm also somebody who's not from Europe. I moved here, so I completely understand the challenge. But we have to go that extra mile, and you have to have a modified CV for the job application, because it is your CV is your reflection without you talking or you showing your face to the person. If it can project what you have done, matches with what we are looking for, that's the first click. Yeah.
Thank you. There was a hand up for a long
That
time.
two
Please go
hands.
on
Yeah.
and ask a question. Andrei.
Okay, let me ask a question about LinkedIn. Thanks for the opportunity. So, how are you working with LinkedIn? Are you accepting, let's say, cold outreach inbox messages? Are you reading CV or LinkedIn profile? If you are saying that you need to change CV for every role, but you cannot change LinkedIn profile for every
No.
role. So, how are you working with LinkedIn? What is the primary source for the applicants? Is it LinkedIn profile or CV? What's your view on that?
Very good question. So I'll tell you. CV is more of, we check both. Okay, just to let you know, we check the CV and we check the LinkedIn. Now I'll break it down what we check in CV and what we check in LinkedIn to clarify. CV is basically a reflection of the work that you have done, because in CV you go technical. You know, I have this many years of experience in this and this many experience in that. LinkedIn is more a reflection of your enthusiasm for the work that you are doing. You will notice most of the people who have been, I will say a simple pattern, and then you can pay attention to this on LinkedIn, and then you'll notice most of the people who were open to work on LinkedIn, they are very active in terms of what they are passionate about, sharing skill set about the work that they have done, or what is new in the market, or new trends, new tips, new technologies, something that's come up. LinkedIn is a reflection of how excited you are actually about the work that you have done and that you are doing, because you cannot we need some people who are genuinely passionate about the work that you are doing. So if a company is hiring you, the company is investing in you, right? You are investing your time in the application process, and the company is investing its resources to have the chat with you and hire you. So we should be able to see that you are genuinely passionate about the work that you are doing, and you are here to be in the company for some time, not just join, get a job, then get something else somewhere, and then you go. Right. So that's what we will see. So LinkedIn is it wasn't like that much before, but now of late, how the market is going in today's time, LinkedIn is a reflection of what you are genuinely passionate about and how you are showcasing it to the people. I will very strongly say that a lot of us come from cultures where we don't know how to beat our own drum, but it's very crucial to showcase your skill set, talk about your skills, talk about your expertise, talk about your passion out in this platform, because that is how you will be seen. Because let me tell you, Andre, so you apply for a position and there are 500 applicants, okay? And if I'm going through 500 LinkedIn's, right, but I can see your LinkedIn. Oh, for example, you're working in, because I work in space, you're working in space technology, say for example, I see that you're posting stuff on what's happening recent in space, and or something that you've done in the past, and I'm like, oh, this guy is genuinely passionate about the work. Okay, he may not be an expert, but he seems very enthusiastic. Let's bring him on board and let's have a chat. That's how it functions here. So that's the reason I very strongly suggest that if you are a job seeker specifically, be very active on LinkedIn. Show what you are doing. Talk about what you are doing. That is how you will stand out. And see, if I tell 20 people, 20 people will not do it on LinkedIn. But out of 20, if 3 people do it on LinkedIn, those 3 will be noticed. And you may not get a job today or tomorrow, but I guarantee you, as compared to others, you will get it pretty soon, because you will be in the notice. And when you are active on LinkedIn and you are doing cold outreach, trust me, the response rate is higher, because they see that this is not just a idle person who is just talking to me because he wants a job. No, no, he's actually passionate about the work. I can see it in the work that he's doing on LinkedIn. Let me have a chat with him. So that's what we see on LinkedIn, and that really helps, because we need something that will distinguish the candidate, make him stand out, right? Because if there are so many, if it's 20 people for a job position, it's not that difficult. But as you know, if it's 500, we need something that can make us be that, oh, this person, mm, let's talk to this guy, or let's talk to this girl. So that's how. I hope I was able to answer your question, Andre.
Yeah, and about accepting call outreach in inbox. Are you reading it?
See, yes, I do read, but it takes time, to be honest, because if my job from morning 9 to evening 5 is responding and checking emails and, responding to applicants and their emails and all, it does take a little. But you know what really helps in cold outreach? Don't just stop at the first message, send follow-ups. Not everybody sends follow-ups. So what happens is, if you send me, hi Ash, blah 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 blah, and I wanted to meet, okay, and it's skipped because I have, say for example, to be honest, in today's time I have more than 50 messages in the past 2 weeks. So and people often reach out to a recruiter, so I understand that, and I nothing against them, I will take time and respond to everybody. So but yeah, so 50. So there are 50 message where I can say one message, one message. But if I see a message by Andre again, hey Ash, just wanted to follow up. It's a little effort. But I see a third message, hey Ash, I know you might be busy, but this is my third follow up. My guilt will kill me and I will reply to you. Hey Andre, I'm really sorry, but I have been busy. But yes, that because at the end of the day, we are all human beings. That's human psychology.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay, that's spot on.
I would suggest send follow-up messages. Yeah. But
Thank
don't send
you.
it like tomorrow. Give it a little bit of time. Like if you're sending one message today, wait for 4 days, or maybe send it the next week or something like that. Yeah. Till then you can chase somebody else, Just yeah, go ahead like that. Yeah.
Funny, I also have the same guilt trip. If I see that
Kills
someone is
me.
following up
Yeah.
again and again, I'm like, oh no, I feel so bad. I really need to answer now. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Mhm.
Another question. Do you have any tips for people coming from abroad that are not in Finland but would love to find a job there and relocate?
Oh, which domain is this person in? Which
It's
are
not
you
specified.
okay? See, okay, I'll be very honest with you. If you live abroad, and you want to relocate, if you're not already here, okay, and if your skill set is something which is very easily available in the market, then it might be a little challenging to find a job immediately. Okay. But if it's a very niche talent, then it wouldn't be difficult that much, because companies, you will find that a lot of people who are working in niche talent here, you will find in the team, these are very multicultural teams, where people are from Argentina, from Greece, because not many people in one country. In Finland, you may not have a lot of I don't know, like satellite production team lead. It's hard to find so many people in Finland or in any country as such. So then you need people from outside. So that's a very niche, very narrow talent. But if it's a very common role, I would say it's slightly challenging. So if you want to relocate to Finland, I would say then this would be a longer discussion where you have to like be open about what is it that you're looking in Finland for, why do you want to relocate, and then maybe do the job applications accordingly. Because see, for any company, it's always easier to hire local because you save a lot of money, very honestly, right? Because if I have a, let's say, RF engineer here in Finland, and I have a RF engineer in I don't know, maybe in Dubai, for example. So RF engineer here might just have to relocate from Porvo to Helsinki, and I will take care of that. But for somebody in Dubai, I have to take care of your lodging, your 1 month lodging, where so that you can find a job, your visa process, and a lot of and it's tons of money. And because companies do it with, when companies are relocating somebody, they don't do it by themselves. In most cases, they are working with another agency. You pay the agency, so a lot of factors included. So if it's easy to find a local talent, they would subject to that. Uh, but having said that, if you want to move, of course, it's not like no, it's impossible. It's not like that. But then that would be a more I would say you have to sit down a little and just discuss what is it that you're looking, and it has to be um, more manicured, more in a way that it's very subjective. Yeah, it's if generally it cannot be like these are the things that you can do to relocate to Finland. Yeah, yeah, or as a matter of fact, any country, not just Finland. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Your answer was very soft. Usually I answer much in a harsher way. Thank
I'm a
you
recruiter.
for being
Yeah.
kind. Yeah, for being kind. Because I have this role of facilitating this session, I'm keeping track of everything. And now we can take an SAP question
Mhm.
if it's still important to ask.
Yeah, I think he was asking about what is it in the market, and as a
Mhm.
recruiter, that's what I say that, and especially somebody who has been like in the tech recruitment for so many years, I would say that it's hard for me to. I had another person who had met me and had asked me about the SAP market, and I say that, you know what, it's very difficult to just pinpoint specifically that um, this factor is the thing that can help you get hired in SAP, or this is what you need to do in SAP. No, that's not possible. You know why? Because in today's time, the market is changing so much. What I say is relevant today may not be relevant next week when you are hiring. So I would say that if you are applying for SAP roles, you would have to do two, three things. First, uh, go on LinkedIn, find the people who are working in your, or this not just SAP, but any field of work, but I'll say for SAP, go on LinkedIn, find the people who are working in your area of work, open their profile, see what work they have been doing, what if they have any certifications, what certifications they have had, if they have had educational qualifications, what qualifications they will have. I am very sure you will have some things which you don't have and they have. That is the skill set that you need to, build in yourself and then imbibe that. And once, say for example, you need, I think I was talking to some person and they were talking about cloud certification, and I had told the person that you do a cloud certification after seeing the profiles and stuff. They did the cloud certification, but they didn't post it anywhere. Once you do a certification, post it on LinkedIn. I'm happy to share that I have taken another step in SAP blah blah blah. Here I have successfully completed this certification. Be on the spotlight. Show it out that you have done it so that it gets noticed. Immediately, people who are hiring for SAP roles, they will see tick tick tick. Oh, this person has done something. Let's see more about him. Let's see. That's what I was telling Andre right now. That let's see what this has done. So uh, it's very difficult to pick one thing as such. I would say whichever industry or whichever area of work that you are trying to work on, go to the profiles, check their qualifications, and then do accordingly. Because it's difficult in today's market. It's very dynamic. So, and I don't want to say you do this and somebody does this and they don't get it, and then it's like, hey, this doesn't work, and it would be unfair. It would be unfair. I, as a recruiter, if I'm telling you something today, I am accountable for that, right? So it shouldn't be like I just said things in vain. So I really don't want to say stuff which may not be like forever. It may not stay forever. So but I can tell you what systems or what process might work. And this is the system, this is the process that works. That if you want a role, look for people who are in that same role, look at the work that they are doing, look at the certifications that they have done, look at the qualifications that they have done, and you will know by yourself what things are lacking in you, and then try to work on that, build that skill set, and then put it out on LinkedIn that you have successfully completed this certification or you've successfully done this role. Even if you've volunteered somewhere, take a picture of yourself and there was some event and you volunteered, put it there that you have done this. I don't know if there was a SAP conference and here in Helsinki and you attended that, put a picture of yourself there. I did this, I did this. You build connections, you met there, you show genuine interest in the subject. So, yeah, that's how it is. It's a lot about being seen. That's something that you have to know. Yeah.
Thank you. In a job description, sometimes there is a name of a recruiter and contact information for questions. So after applying for the job, what kind of questions should a candidate typically ask when calling a recruiter?
One thing that I always focus on is ask the timeline. Like, by when can I expect a response? And by when do you expect to fill this role? See, 2, 3 questions that can show that you are actually an expert in the subject that you've applied for is one you can ask is, when does the company hope to fill this role by? Secondly, the role that you are hiring for, what kind of business impact it's going to have in the company, like what he or she, in terms of, I have the responsibilities, I don't know how will it help the business. Whether the recruiter answers your question or not, that's up to the recruiter. On the basis of the NDA, he or she may give you a vague response, or she give you a proper elaborate response. But this can also, but when you ask, like, the role that is advertised that I applied for, what kind of business impact does it aim to have on the company? It shows that you are not just thinking about filling the role, you're not just thinking about applying and getting a job, but you are genuinely interested in the company's business, and you're genuinely interested in contributing to the company. And then you can ask another question about the culture, that is this a global culture, is it a Finnish culture, is there anything specific that you expect in terms of how one needs to integrate into the culture. It would show that you are making an effort to understand what it would take to be a part of the company, because whether you like it or not, a lot of times people also pose a red flag in culture fit, and that also becomes a big question mark. So yeah, I would say these 3 things about the timeline, that by when do you attempt to fill the role, is this just one role or do you have more roles under the same title, how will this role impact the business or the company's growth and expansion. And you can and when I take interviews, I always see if a candidate has done research on the company. That's very important. So if you can throw 1 or 2 questions about some latest developments in the company, say for example, there was a news that DataCrunch recently raised, a certain amount in funding. So if you're interviewing for DataCrunch, say, I just saw, for congratulations, I saw you guys raising a, amazing amount in, right now. And how does it impact? Are you planning to open a lot more new roles? I also saw that you guys are opening a data center. How is the progress going? Just wanted to ask that. It shows that you're well informed about the company that you're applying for, and you're not just randomly applying. So yeah, look informed, be educated and be informed about the company that you're applying for, and look informed to the candidate, to the recruiter that you're speaking to. It always creates a good impression. So yeah.
A question from...
Yeah.
I'm asking to unmute.
Yeah. Can we take names or no?
Well, if there is no answer, Krunal, please go on.
Yes.
Kunal and
So,
Vatsal. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so the following to your the what you have given the answers, I want to ask you, many times in the job descriptions, I have seen that there are the contact of the head of that department or also the recruiter at the same time. And I have seen in many applications there is no contact of the recruiter, but they said that you can contact to the head of the department. So, for example, if I send the email what you have just explained to the head of the department, is there further any internal communication between the head of the department and between the recruiters, that, for example, this Krunal or maybe Ash, there are 2 candidates who contacted me and asked these questions?
Yes.
And
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
and followingly that might help to recruiter to, okay, let's go with these two resumes and let's go check the LinkedIn's and further maybe call for the interviews.
Yes, anytime you reach out, you stand out. Because as I said, out of 100 people or out of 500 people don't reach out. Trust me, if there are 300 applicants for the role, there might be just 4 to 5 people who reach out. Honestly, as a recruiter, not more than that. Others, and there are some reach out, hey, I just wanted to know I applied for this role. That's not how you reach out. No, no, you don't do that. By when I say reach out, what I mean is showing genuine interest in the role and the company and your passion for the kind of work the company is doing. By reaching out, I don't mean that, hi, I saw your name on the job post. I just wanted to say I applied for this position, eagerly looking to hearing, eagerly looking forward to hearing back. No, what I meant is, hi, this is the role that I applied for. It sounds fascinating. I had some questions I wanted to ask you. Or by when can I expect a timeline? When you reach out to the person, always throw a question, because then the person is accountable to answer you back, and that's how you will stay under the notice of the person. If you just leave a message without asking a question, there is no need for the person to get back to you. But if you leave a question, he or she will get back. So always leave a question. It might take some time, as I said, send follow ups. But if it's a question, the person will definitely get back. So do that. And yes, to answer your question, that if you have reached out to the head of the department and the recruiter, yes, they both talk that there is this person who seems genuinely interested. Let's have a look at the profile, and if it matches, okay, let's bring him on the call. Let's have a chat and let's see what can he or she, or how he or she can add value to the company, for sure.
I think we have time for two questions if we answer shortly, one from a chat and one with the hand raised now.
Yeah, I think Vatsal, we can go ahead with him. He's been raising for quite some
Yeah,
time.
okay.
Sure. Thank you very much. Actually, I have two questions anyway. But yeah, I have a question about the things related like a compliance and
Mm,
such as that. You know, this kind of thing cannot be taught in universities.
mm,
And it has happened with me many times that applying to entry level job and they
mm,
already want me to know about certain things about
mm,
this standards, this compliance, and it makes
mhm,
me raise question that standards, compliance, they are very industry specific and you can
mm,
only do once you are in the job.
mm,
Now, in this kind of things, how you need to approach, even for the things as SAP,
mm,
SAP is not really taught in most of the
mm.
universities. Like you get a traineeship under the company, and then you can be yeah, consultant or something.
Yeah, yeah.
So it just raises some gaps.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It does. No. So yeah, so actually, Vatsal, there are two things to this. One is, first of all, yes, at times there are some companies who write this and they want entry level with this many experience. That makes no sense. But um, there are some companies, when they write, they expect basic knowledge. You know why? Because in some universities, just clarifying this picture to you, in some universities, when people do internships, they get the exposure to do this kind of work, right? So I say for example, in ISI where I work, so in the space sector, so when we look for some people at the fresher level, and there are certain skill set that we expect them, we know that this person has not done this on a full-time job, and we don't so I'm just clarifying the picture to you, just to let you know that we don't expect this person to, that he or she might have done this 9 to 5, at a stretch in a full-time job as a full-time employee. No, no, no. But this person might have had exposure to this kind of work or this kind of setup during some internship during in the college, so that we don't have to teach the person like ABC of everything. He knows the ABC, and he knows the bricks and the cement, and he knows the water, and we will teach him how to build the block. So the companies, they expect that you just know a little bit of it, right? Having said that, I completely agree with you. There are some companies who actually do
Yeah.
do write that they need blah 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 for a fresher. That makes no sense. But what I would say in such cases is, if you have done even minutely something similar to what the job is asking for, even minutely similar. Say, for example, they are asking, I don't know what to say, drone making. I don't know.
Hmm.
It's just, yeah. So, for example, they've asked, you have had experience in drone making and you are applying for an entry level job. You don't have experience in drone making. Okay.
Hmm.
But you were part of, there was a drone making, or there was some seminar somewhere where there was drone making and you had attended that. So, A, you have attended, which shows that you are interested in it. B, you saw the work that they were doing. So you got an idea of how the drone making process goes. Third, do your own research of what goes behind drone making and modify your CV in a way so that it shows that you volunteered or you participated or you were part of a drone making session where this process was involved and you were able to contribute in some way, like you were either, you saw, you participated, you volunteered, you were engaged, stuff like that. So it just shows that, so if I am reading as your CV, in this aspect, I would not know if you have made a drone. But if you write that, what I would understand is this person does have the exposure to the world of drone making. He does know the terms and terminology, so I don't have to teach him basic stuff. And he seems interested in this because he decided to do this internship or he decided to attend this. So he volunteered to do it by himself, right? So it checks several boxes. Oh, he's a curious guy. He's curious to learn about drone making. Oh, he has participated, so he has the basic knowledge. Oh, he's using the terms that we generally use in drone making. Bring him for a chat. So you get it. So it's not about, it's when you are writing your CV, that's why I always say, think of the minutest of the minutest things, which might seem irrelevant to you, but you can always build a story around that of how that work is connected with what they're looking in the job. So, yeah.
Thank you. And we just
Thank
ran
you.
out of time as well. So let me thank you a lot for everything you have shared with us so far. It was amazing. I know there were many questions we didn't have a chance to answer, but still the ones that we answered, I liked it a lot. I even made lots of notes based on that. Thank you a lot for being here with us.
Thank you so much, Lydia, for having me. Thank you so much, everybody. It was wonderful. I hope this was helpful for everybody. And let's connect on LinkedIn and yeah, drop a post on LinkedIn, be active on LinkedIn. Let's stay connected. And if you are free, then let's catch up for coffee sometime. I often meet for coffee. So yeah, we can grab a coffee and hope you guys have a lovely day. Thank you so much.